How's it going, YouTube? Welcome to the Cosmic Ray channel. I'm your host, Cosmic Ray. Alright, so by the time I'm doing this video, it's in the morning the next day on May 13th. This thing that happened to me was on May 12th after I got off of work. Just kind of cut to the chase kind of thing. So if I were to say I saw like an unidentified flying object, usually everyone would be like, oh, aliens, blah blah blah, no way, bullshit, you know. And that's not what I'm saying that I saw. I saw, I guess, what some people call like a UFO, as in the literal unidentified flying object. Now, just have to take it from me that I love different type of like spaceships, different type of planes. You know, back in my day when I was young, when the stealth bomber, came out, everyone was like, oh my god, this is so cool, this is like the most coolest looking thing, and it was like the closest to like a triangular looking type of craft, I thought was, kind of cool, right? It reminds me of a very spacey type of thing, and so I thought it was cool, right? Now, I've seen a lot of airplanes, obviously. I've been in an airplane, I've seen airplanes fly over, I know even when you look underneath an airplane, when an airplane lands, it's the easiest way to explain to people that it's like triangular in shape. And this is kind of an interesting thing that happened to me tonight. What the fuck? Okay, I'll explain that in a little bit. That's not a big deal. I got like this little app that talks about like different types, like voices, like try to picks up different things. Anyways, that's for fun. It's just going off right now. Whew, said C, like water. See. Anyways, so I was driving home. I was taking this coworker home, and I mentioned about something about this coworker before, where when I was dropping him off, and when he got out of the car, these lights like flickered in my car. And this was, don't get me wrong, I'm used to seeing things flicker, energy source lights. I can explain many different ways, but it was just one of these things where when I was saying goodbye to him at that time, these lights flickered, and it's like, I was like, what the hell? Like, there's something going on, there's this connection or something, right? Anyways, something happened when I was dropping him off, and I saw something in the sky, and where he lives, I would say it's closer to like some type of base, so that it would make sense to see an airplane. However, not at night. I'm not saying there can't be or it's impossible, but the likelihood, especially given the fact that I've dropped him off many times at night, I've never seen any airplanes around that area or whatnot. But it doesn't mean it's not, right? It doesn't mean it's impossible. So I drop him off, and I see something kind of like hover, not over necessarily over my car, but over like his area that he was in. And I was telling him like, hey, you live kind of somewhere near that base, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. I just brushed it off. I was like, oh, all right, it must have been an airplane, whatever, right? And it just had like random lights. I just never seen something like this, and usually like these planes in this area would fly a little bit lower to the ground, the most. So maybe it's different, to see like a plane, I guess, like flying lower, like trying to land, maybe it just looks kind of different, with all the lights and whatnot. I'm just trying to rationalize it, okay? Probably none of that even had to do with anything, and maybe it was something odd, but I digress. I'm just want to explain that part. As I'm driving home and I get closer to the destination, I'm like high vibing at that moment. Like I'm feeling good and listening to music, just being positive, and just had other things going on the next day. Regarding to see one of my sons, his birthday coming up soon, so I'm like hanging out with him the day before. So it's gonna be really cool. So I'm like jazzed up, I'm excited and whatnot. I'm just feeling the moment, feeling everything, right? And not even thinking about the BS and all the random synchronicities or the random things that happen at work. Just this moment, right? And as I'm coming home, I see something in the sky flying lower to the ground than normal. Now like I said, I've been around like ghetto birds, or what we call in our area, helicopters, from the cops, and you make that sound like. Sorry, I feel like I'm kind of embarrassing to this, but the whole like the little chopper like sounds, or when you see like in the military, like old school back in like the 70s, see a helicopter taking off, it's like type of thing. I've seen a lot of helicopters, fly around, and the reason I'm talking about helicopters is that this thing sounded like a helicopter. And that's what made me turn down my radio. I'm like, oh, a helicopter, like that's interesting. It's flying at nighttime. And and I've seen like news, helicopters and whatnot, and they've seen helicopters with lights flashing, especially in a home area when you have parties and stuff. And then you're like, hey, you kids, knock it off, kind of thing. And I've seen those too, and see how low they fly. And I've also seen military helicopters where they're just trying to do their own little missions, like practice missions or whatever it is, right? They're just flying at night, and you're like, oh, okay, they're just have their lights, low or off in a sense. You can still see it flying, no big deal, even from far away. Now, what I saw, when I think of like the typical UFO, I'm thinking like the flying saucer, the little circular thing goes, and all those things that people talk about, right? Like, whoa. But then when I was driving, like I heard like something that sounded like a humming sound, and then I heard like kind of like a helicopter-ish noise, and that's the best thing I can describe. It wasn't exactly like a helicopter. That's just the best. That made me stop the radio or my music that I was having. And I was like, oh, a helicopter. Looked out my car. I'm like, I don't see a helicopter, and then bam, something that reminds me of, okay, horrible artist here. Something reminds me of this. Obviously not like this angle, but it was more like a triangular shape, but not pointing, like an actual like point, but kind of like circular edged, or on the three area, that was flying over me, and it was close. So I highly would doubt this would be like a quote unquote alien ship or anything like that. But just for me, I didn't know what this was, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this was an alien or anything like that. This could very well be just a ship that I have no idea what the hell this is, and I'm not, in the Air Force or anything. Maybe there's a new, jet or something, but this was flying slow. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen air shows, I've seen other things where sometimes you see a plane in the sky, even if they're flying low. Of course, it looks like they're going like, taking like forever, but they're literally flying really, really fast, right? Like I get that. This was something flying lower than helicopters. Like when you get those helicopters that fly in your neighborhood that talk about, like, oh, there's a missing person in this area, blah, 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 or there's so-and-so has dementia, and please be aware this person may be walking around, you get these announcements. Or if you never had that in your neighborhood, we do in my neighborhood. So that happens, and they fly close to the ground. So this thing was loud enough that I heard it sounded close to like a humming slash that helicopter-ish, like that type of sound, and I don't know if it was more like a vibrating sound. Anyways, it was flying low, and it was going like I was going this way, and it was going this way, right? And I look up, I'm like, what the fuck? And there's past couple of days been kind of weird with the sky. Like it was slightly raining, and I didn't think it was supposed to rain. It's supposed to be hot, and then all of a sudden, bam, it rains, and then like the next day, like it stops, and then like it was just random. Like it wasn't something where like, oh, it's cold and oh, the clouds and it's coming in, the rain's coming in, and I didn't even know, kind of thing. And another stuff I see in the sky regarding like chemtrails, I can't even talk, chemtrails, and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, no big deal. And so I see this thing flying. It's going slow, like a helicopter would. And when I see helicopters fly low, I know they're still going fast, but up from the distance, you're like, oh, that's slow or whatever. They're just hovering, I guess, or whatever they call it. But this thing was going like, going like this, slow. And I've seen these lights. Now, I wouldn't think a quote unquote UFO as in like the alien type would have like blue or red lights or anything of that nature. I would just think of whatever. Like it's not like I've seen aliens like on an aircraft type of thing all the time. So I can't describe like, oh, well, it's not like this, but it's like this. You really fucking know, right? And all I see is like these blue and red and slightly yellow lights, which I was thinking, oh, okay, I must just be under a fucking airplane that I've never seen. And very well, this could just be an airplane and just one I've never seen. But it wasn't like one of those things where it looked triangular, but yet it was an airplane, had a long nose, and then you see this thing and you're just thinking that it's a triangular. No, this thing was literally triangular. So I don't know any other way to explain it, but it was just triangular in shape. It just wasn't like a fit point, like an actual like something sharp, to a point, but it was definitely like rounded, edges, anyways. And so I'm like, okay, and I see it happen again, and and like then all of a sudden I went to like a cloud and it like or I thought I was going to a cloud and it completely disappeared. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell? And I looked back, I'm like, and then all of a sudden, boom, and it came out again. I slowed down the car. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, no way. Whatever, right? Whatever. Like, just let it go. And and I come home and I'm like doing dishes, doing other stuff. Um, and I know the reason why I say that is like now when if you've ever done dishes, you get like slowly like into like a meditative type state. You may not even know, and it's kind of just feeling everything else. I'm like, all right, I'll put on some like Netflix or something. It's like getting late, I just need to kind of go to sleep. So as this is happening, right, I'm putting on something on Netflix, and I don't know if I should be talking about this or not, but there's just something about just whatever these type of like shows that they're out, whether or not they're fake or BS or whatnot. I was watching some show on Netflix, and it was kind of something that kind of newer came on Netflix. It had to do with like these alien type files, whatever. Right now, this was more of a synchronistic thing to me because they were talking about something about something called like the Solar Warden, some type of like NASA or some type of like secret quote unquote mission, and some type of like thing where we're having like this certain type of like space army type, something that maybe like Trump had mentioned, oh, we're gonna, space air force or whatever. Regards to that, but this is like a long time ago, like back then, I think it was like in like the 70s or 80s or something. And they were talking to something also about UFO hotspots in America and about certain things that's happened, and they were talking about something called like something in Belgian, like the Belgian wave, something about TR3B, something around like 1989 or something like that. And it was just one of these things where I don't know, like I just saw it and it just really like creeped me the f out. And I was looking at this, I'm like, no way. And while I was watching this thing, they're showing different things of these UFO quote unquote aircrafts having to be triangular. And yes, that could just very well just be something that was on TV, triangular and UFO aircraft. Maybe it's just something I didn't really see before or didn't really pay attention. And not saying that like I maybe didn't know about something like that, but the way like when I saw that on TV or on this Netflix thing versus what I saw, this was like almost close to being spot on. And the thing that they showed, as in not the thing that was like in real life, but like their artist depiction of what it was, had blue and red lights, and that really like did something, to me, kind of just like like synchronistic like type of moment. Like, what is this? What is this? What is this? Pay attention, Ray. Pay attention. Have these little tingles and jingles, throughout my body. Like, hey, you gotta pay attention to this. And it was just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, what I saw, wasn't alien. It's just something that just happened. Maybe what I'm seeing on TV, to this, that maybe this was just something just chalk up to like synchronistic, maybe just random, coincidence, type of thing. And then when that episode was over, the next episode had to do with more on the specific crafts, and they're talking more about these triangular ones and about this whole thing about this TR 3B type of thing. And those are a little bit different than the picture that I showed. However, they talked about these different kind of lights that are on there that remind me of the colors that I was seeing, and those are more for like a government type of thing. I would believe more in that. What I saw was maybe something type of like a prototype or whatever that maybe the government was panning out. But this wasn't. I never seen airplanes fly over at night of where I live, specifically where I live. Not at night, not during, not during the time, not during this time. Not in this area, not in my neighborhood, and not like I said. It's not like, oh, they can't do that. It's impossible. Nothing like that. It was just more of the only thing close that would fly around my neighborhood during this night would be a helicopter, if anything. No planes. I've ever heard any planes at night flying around my house, around the neighborhood. In the daytime, that's another thing, and that's just random too. If I would actually hear an airplane literally over the house, in a sense, like the flight pattern, I'm assuming it's not supposed to be in this neighborhood, from my understanding. But this thing was at nighttime, and like I said, this thing was flying low, and it wasn't exactly over my house or anything, because I was coming towards my house. I was probably like maybe a good like a 1 mile, literally 1 mile in a straightaway, away from my house, and it was just random. I saw it twice. Well, technically, I saw it more than once, because it looked like this particular aircraft that was right when I was taking this coworker home. It reminded me of this thing. I just assumed, because it made more logical sense that if you live somewhat close to like a base type of thing, I would assume that there was an airport, or then I would assume there's a plane. Try to make that logic rationale, and like saying, okay, well, that was what it was. Obviously, it wasn't what I was thinking it was. But I joked around with them. I was like, "You do live near like a base, right? Like this wasn't." And I was joking with him like, "It's not like you have UFOs around here." And then he's like, "No, Ray." And then he had like this big grin on his face. Now, I've mentioned to you about this type of person beforehand, and he's like a gentle giant kind of person, and some may feel he may have something with him, but I don't look at him like that. He's a kind of cool guy. He just takes his time to talk to me, and but he's had this biggest grin on his face and like a little like smirk, and he's like, "No, Ray, like there's no aliens," and he like kept grinning. I was like, "Dude, like, are you fighting with me? Like, are you kidding with me? Like, what's going on?" The cool guy. But anyways, like when I came home, I had all these like random things, and I felt like I caught what I call a vibrational outline person, or my inner outer dimensional vibrational outline people. Sometimes I've dubbed them my alien entity type, friends or spirit guides. Um, and some of them, I know there are a few of you out there that are like more concerned, about them, and that's okay too. Like there's what I may be seeing is different from maybe what you've been seeing. It's very similar, and it's one of those things where it can be scary kind of thing. It can be crazy. It can be scary. Um, but yeah, it was just one of those moments of life where I just realized that it just maybe you kind of just feel like, okay, you know what, with all this going on, that I saw my interdimensional vibrational outline people, if you will. I saw them, and just only two, one mainly, and it's like I caught them. It's like one of those things where like someone's checking you out, and you look, and you're like, ah, I caught you looking. It's like one of those things where like I was doing something, and I looked up, and like it started like to shift and move. I'm like, I caught you. Like, like I caught you. Like it's okay. Like, come chill, come hang out, kind of thing, right? Like you don't need to be, don't be afraid of me. Don't worry about what's going on. It doesn't matter. It's all good that I saw you. Don't think of it as like that big of a deal. Anyways, and then as that was happening, that's what made it even more like what's going on, kind of thing. I was watching Netflix, all that. I already saw my thing, and I wasn't even sure whether or not to do this video, and who knows? And it's just one of those like dumb things to talk about. But it was just one of those feelings that I've definitely been getting this feeling a lot more, um, just a lot more of what's going on. And give me one second. I'm actually gonna pause, so just you may take a little quick little like edit type of thing. Just give me a moment. Okay, so how do you like that for an edit? So just want to say to those of you who have recently subscribed to all the cosmic surfers, actually, but to the most recent cosmic convergence, and as well as paradox fossils, artifacts, and coins. Thank you very much for subscribing, and thank you very much for joining what I like to call the cosmic surfers. All of us who are going through these, either if you want to call it spiritual awakening or just awakening of whatever you want to call it, what's going on currently. If you are awakening to your true nature spiritually, or even those of you who are starting to understand maybe the simulation matrix, or start to understand reality, or what we're understanding, this consciousness or collective consciousness of life, or whether you're an empath or a shaman, or a witch, or even like the white witch, or even if you're someone that's understanding of different realms of reality, different types of quantum realities, multi-dimensional understanding that we are more than just what we are, in a sense. And You know, we're all going through it. We're all learning. We're all experiencing new things. We're all understanding our past lives. So understanding why we're here, what we're doing, what we can do. Some of us are understanding our oneness to creation. You know, our connection to each other. We're all. Some of us are starting to understand this type of feeling of. Hopefully, I know this doesn't come across like something bad, but for those of you who are been called on, you know, for those of you who are, I like to call it, just say the ones. You know, I know it's like when you say the one, it's only one and only, but I mean the ones. You know, the some of them, you know, it's like the blessed ones. Some of us known as the people that may call, like, you know, the blessed, yeah, just the blessed, or even like the part of the 144, or if you know, it doesn't really matter. You know, if you're an angel, or if you're a messenger, if you will, or a light worker, or understanding like your being, or maybe you're from another planet and this is more than one incarnation, you know, for yourself, um, you know, or like I know some people may even call others as sorry. It's just one of those things where, like, I try not to get into it, you know, as much, but some people just call like the blessed ones or the chosen ones. You know, I guess another way to put it. They're one of the chosen ones, and it's got nothing to do with really of like a class, like being better. It's not like that at all. It's just, you know, that you were here for a reason, and you know you're supposed to help out humanity, help out Gaia, Mother Earth, help uplift, you know, life conditions, vibrations of the planet. Um, so just want to say thank you all to who are going through the struggles of life, right, in the karmic and cosmic ways of life, and being part of our cosmic surfer family, if you will, and just want to say thank you, you know, for your support. Thank you for even commenting. You know, we're all going through it, and sometimes you feel like you're alone, and you're not. You know, these cosmic waves, if you will, you know, try to get you down, but you have to realize, you know, there's nothing that, you know, this universe, you know, won't give to you that you can't handle, you know, and that's just being able to embrace it through this life. So I appreciate you, you know, in this life, and thank you for the contributions that you're doing, you know, in either co-creating, you know, in this world, in this reality, trying to make this world a better place, whatever that means for you. So thank you for everyone, you know, who is watching this and be able to kind of take this just as an open thing, not necessarily you have to take it as like a fact, you know, take this as, oh, well, I definitely saw aliens, or I definitely saw this, you know, it's just something, an experience that I've had tonight, and I've had others, you know, before, and I've mentioned in other, you know, videos about certain things I've seen even in the daytime that was just kind of random, but this was something that it just blew my mind. It just really truly blew my mind. I never seen lights like this specifically, and you know, I've seen planes, you know, I've seen it at night, you know, you know, I've done that, you know, like I know usually the kind of lights, it's just, it was just a little bit more lights than I've seen. It wasn't just like one or two on the edges kind of thing. It wasn't like I saw a lot of white lights or yellow lights, you know, that might have a plane, you know, kind of just showing itself for obvious reasons. It was just lights underneath, really, and it's blues and reds, which I would think, okay, that sounds about right. You know, you gotta see red at light, you know, at night too, and yeah, it makes it easier to see. So that makes sense why I wouldn't, you know, you know, an American type of aircraft type of thing, you know, have blue or red lights, you know, red, white, and blue, right? Um, it was just when I was watching that show on Netflix, it just, they had the same lights, and it was more dubbed as an alien type of thing. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, this is definitely some random synchronicities that's just happening to me, you know, that saw my inner outer dimensional vibration outline person, if you will, or people, and then I saw that on Netflix, and I was like, what's to come, what is this? And I'm like, all right, should I do a video, should I not do a video? And then all of a sudden getting these like tingles and jingles inside, I'm like, fudge it, you know, I just gotta do it. So anyways, I digress now. Thank you so much. Stay cosmic out there. Stay cosmic.